Everyone thinks the Roomba 694 is too basic in 2026, a relic next to all those fancy LiDAR bots with maps and no-go zones. But here's the thing, the 694's old-school bump-and-run brain can actually leave floors cleaner in real, messy homes because it's relentlessly simple. It targets dirt with iRobot's Dirt Detect, and it just keeps going. I spent 3 weeks stress testing it in a pet-heavy, kid-crumbs, cable-prone household expecting to roll my eyes. Instead, I found myself double-checking the floors because they felt cleaner than I thought they would, and that's not hype. It's the result of specific tests, controlled messes, and daily schedules. But here's where it gets interesting. The 694 makes you trade time for consistency. And depending on your space, that trade might be worth every extra dollar. Before we dive into what I discovered, quick heads up. If you're already leaning yes and want the best current price, the link's below. But stick around because the quirks I uncovered will absolutely affect whether this is right for your home. Here's why I even tried the 694. My last cheap robot vacuum promised mapping and slick app features for under $200. It mapped, it also beelined for my phone charger, choked on a bathroom threshold, and left a confetti trail along baseboards. By week 2, I was doing rescue missions more than it was doing cleaning. That's the emotional tax nobody talks about. You're buying time back, not just suction. With 2 dogs shedding and a toddler generating Cheerio avalanches, I needed something I could trust. I was skeptical of the 694 because it looks basic. Bristle brush, no smart mapping, no self-empty base, about a 90-minute battery. But iRobot has a reputation for reliable navigation logic and Dirt Detect that focuses on high-traffic zones. So I set out to answer one question. In a real home, is this boring robot worth the extra money over flashy budget competitors? Test 1. Daily maintenance on a mixed floor plan, 900 square feet. Hardwood kitchen tile, low-pile carpet, 1 medium-pile rug, thresholds around 0.6 inches. I ran the 694 once daily for 21 days, scheduled via the iRobot app. Average runtime per full pass, 68 to 83 minutes before docking. It doesn't do room mapping or smart room-by-room routes. It uses adaptive bump logic plus sensors. Coverage? Not pretty to watch, but by the 50-minute mark, most open areas were hit, and by the end, high-traffic areas looked notably cleaner. It returned to base reliably 19 out of 21 runs. 2 fails were cable-related, totally on me, but then something I didn't expect. The edges along toe kicks and chair legs looked better compared to the budget LiDAR bot I tested last month, likely thanks to the edge-sweeping brush and repeated passes. Test 2. Hard floor pickup with a measured mess. In a 10 by 10 foot hardwood area, I dropped 50 grams of mixed debris, rice, oats, sugar, and dog hair. After a 15-minute targeted session, the 694 collected about 92% by weight. It missed some sugar dust in grout lines, which is normal for vacuums without a soft roller. But then I ran it a second time without moving it back to start. Dirt Detect kicked in on the denser patches, and total pickup hit 96%. That's better than my cheap mapped competitor, which got 89% in one pass but didn't re-engage dirty zones. Test 3. Carpet and hair. Low-pile carpet and a 0.6-inch rug lip. The 694 climbed the rug without drama. On hair pickup, it did well, roughly 80% of visible dog hair in a 12-minute pass over a 6 by 8 rug. But here's the catch. The bristle brush wraps hair. You'll spend 3 to 4 minutes every few runs cutting and pulling strands. Not a deal breaker, but if you have multiple long-haired pets, consider stepping up to a Roomba with rubber twin rollers like the i3, i4 families. Test 4. App scheduling and autonomy. The iRobot Home app is simple, not flashy. You can schedule, trigger spot cleans, and get cleaning suggestions based on your routine. No room maps, no no-go zones, no recharge and resume. If it runs out mid-job, it docks and you have to restart. Battery life averaged 85 to 95 minutes. That's fine for small to medium spaces, but larger homes will feel the lack of resume. Noise sat in the mid-60s decibels at 3 feet, audible TV territory, not conversation-friendly. But then one more pleasant surprise. 0 cliff sensor false positives on my black runner rug, which trips a lot of robot vacuums. The 694 ignored it and cleaned normally. Here's where it gets interesting. After 28 cycles and about 19 hours of runtime, the 694 didn't wow me with smarts. It won me over with reliability and repeated attention to dirty zones, my most surprising finding. On hard floors and low-pile carpets, the randomness actually helped because Dirt Detect caused it to linger in the disaster zones under the high chair in front of the entry mat until the crackle underfoot disappeared. Compared head-to-head with an UFI 11S, the 694 had slightly louder operation and needed more time, but it left edges cleaner and required fewer rescues. Versus a bargain LiDAR bot with pretty maps, the 694 picked up more fine debris and didn't get paralyzed by thresholds or narrow chair mazes. Is it perfect? No. The bin is modest at around 1/3 of a liter. In my pet home, I emptied it every 1 to 2 runs. It needs floor prep, pick up cables and tassels, and you'll avoid 90% of potential headaches. And if you crave room-by-room control or no-go zones, you'll be frustrated. But the value prop is clear. You're paying for a robot that shows up day after day and actually leaves a visible difference without babysitting. If you can spend more, the Roomba i3 adds smarter navigation and optional self-empty. If you need quiet over power, the UFI 11S is gentler but less thorough. If you want mapping on a budget, a Wise or Entry Roborock might tempt you, just know reliability and long-term parts support tend to favor iRobot. Now that you know its biggest strength is consistent real-world cleaning, you'll want to grab it when it dips on sale. Prices swing a lot. Check the link in the description for the best current deal, and if you're on the fence, hang tight for my quick verdict on who should and shouldn't buy. Bottom line, the Roomba 694 is worth the extra money if your priority is dependable, low-fuss cleaning on hard floors and low-pile carpets in small to medium spaces. Pet owners who can do a quick cable sweep will appreciate Dirt Detect and the way it keeps high-traffic paths looking clean. Skip it if you need mapping, no-go zones, recharge and resume, a bigger bin, or if you have thick carpets, aim for the Roomba i3, i4, or a Roborock Q5+. For everyone else, the 694 proves you don't need fancy maps to get clean floors. You're not paying for bells and whistles, you're buying a robot that actually does the job every single day. On screen, I'll show before and afters and a quick brush maintenance demo so you know exactly what you're getting.